What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. I got a couple things I want to say first before we go further. Um, but welcome to the live stream. This is a solely discussion about are comic book films hurting the film industry or saving the film industry? Is it, basically, if you look back to all the comic book films from the past 2 decades, has it done a greater impact to the film industry, or should we revert back to the old film industry ways of less comic book films and more regular, more artistic director vision type films, like Martin Scorsese and type, those kind of directors? But is comic book films hurting the film industry or saving the film industry? And if you want to voice your opinion on that, the invites are open. You're welcome to discuss if you agree or disagree. Do you think it's hurting the film industry or saving the film industry? So the invites are definitely open, and I'm ready and open for discussion. I'm not siding for either side. I just want to hear the fans of cinema and your all's opinions and how you feel on the matter. So welcome to the live stream. Basically, do you think the comic book films are hurting the film industry or saving the film industry? Please join the live stream, voice your opinion on the matter, and tell me your thoughts. Let's have a discussion. Yeah, so please join the live stream. The invites are open. Excuse me, I'm eating a donut. But yeah, invites are open. You're welcome to join in the live stream. Here we go. We got one going. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me. I wanted to make sure that I was
Hello?
clear. Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, my volume's down. My bad.
Nah, you good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool, bro. I got so much background noise, so I'm just gonna make it short.
All right.
Um, I don't feel like the comic book industry is hurting the. Um, I don't feel like the comic book industry is hurting the movie industry because I feel like the movie industry would be struggling regardless. Because with these streaming services nowadays, I mean, everybody's just willing to stay at home. I don't really think that the superhero movies are hurting it. Now, I don't think that they're helping it either, but definitely not hurting it.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. But the big discussion from have you seen the recent interview with Martin Scorsese and his opinion on comic book films and whatnot?
No, I haven't. I don't keep up with the cinematic universe like that, but I'm definitely open to education.
So his thing is that um, he's it's not really just comic book films, but more of like franchise films. He fears that franchise films are given the impression to the young generation that in order to succeed as a filmmaker or whatnot, or an actor or a director, you have to be part of a franchise films. Meanwhile, the lesser, like the A24 films, stuff like that, do not succeed as much as a franchise film like Barbie making $1 billion this year, something like that.
No, I feel that theory. I feel like though they don't tell you that, the movie industry is a very hungry one where actors and actresses, they go out to Hollywood or they go out to these big movie sets hoping for a chance in a movie. These directors, they go to school and they study film and production, and then they end up on the camera crew and the news station. My point is that the movie industry in all avenues is, I'm not going to say dying, but they're hungry. So I don't feel like the franchises are really. the only reason they have franchises is to give these big time directors something to do, or to, give these projects to the little guy who's going to do it for nothing to try and, make some money real quick. My point is that these people are hungry, and I don't feel like the franchise movies are helping either. I don't think that they're helping the cinema. I think that they're trying to get hungry people to do these movies so that they can make money off of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think when it comes to franchise films, they definitely serve a purpose for when it comes to film industry from the past 100 years. And so, like when it comes to like Star Wars and Indiana Jones and type films like that, for instance, Star Wars, opened the door for so many other filmmakers to come along later down the line. Other franchises to be born off that. Pixar owes a lot of that to George Lucas and what he did in the film world back in the day. But I do also believe franchise films also, I don't think they're ruining movies, studios ahead. Well, yeah, well, that's the thing. And anybody's on the live stream right now, you're welcome to join into the live stream. The invites are open. Give your opinion on the matter. Personally, I don't think it's hurting the film industry, but it could go both ways. Some people have strong opinions. Some other directors feel mainly the more older generations have a bitter or more of a bitter opinion about it. They think comic book films are not viewed as films. They look at it more of like a like a Disney park, theme park kind of thing. It's not even a film. They don't look at it. They look at it as more of like an event than a film. Compared to like, for instance, they'll look at a film like Avengers: Infinity War as a roller coaster ride, but it's nothing compared to a film like, The Godfather or The Heat and films like that. That the problem is with them is that the franchise films as a whole are given the impression to the younger generation that films like that are slowly being unalived. I don't want to say that word because I don't want to get reported on. But basically, that's the gist of what's been going on here lately. And I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had. And, it's just, it's one of those things where I see it's dividing some of the film creators and film, makers and whatnot. Some believe that, comic book films should have been, they have had their shine, and that these other film, directors and whatnot, like A24 and whatnot. Hey, hold on. Got somebody coming. What's going on?
It's happening.
So, what do you feel on are the comic book films hurting the film industry or saving the film industry?
I don't think they're hurting because of both like the A24 films and all these other films coming out. I mean the Lighthouse, that did great. That was a fucking that wasn't a superhero film and that did great. Rave reviews by everyone who's seen it. So it's pretty much a matter of taste, honestly.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, and you can't say they're hurting the film industry because they're raking in billions of dollars.
Well, if you think about the future of the film industry, like if you look at it's like a genre thing. Like if you look back in the like late '80s, early like all of the '90s, it was all mob films, more of the muscle,
Yeah.
masculine kind of films.
Well,
And
yeah.
farther back then, there used to be cowboys and Indians and that whole genre. But that had its run, and mob films have had their run. So is the comic book industry having it like is it coming to its end as in its run, or is it, and what is the impact with that as well? Is it hurting the film industry? Is it setting the other films that are not franchise films back a couple years back because they're not the franchise films, they're not a Star Wars film, Marvel film, DC film, something like that?
I wouldn't say it's holding anything back because superhero genre is pretty much the last kind of film series that's been touched. Like everything's been done before. That's like why you said they had their time. Like in the '80s, like you said, it was all muscle, super action. You know, Those were big during then. You would get them still, yeah, but they're not as big as they were.
Yeah, and that's I
But
think that one of the guys that brought up is like, yeah, there's a lot of uh, these studios are sacrificing a lot of the quality of filmmaking because back then, for instance, Kevin Smith, he can go
yeah,
out and make a film like Clerks or Mallrats for $10,000 or whatever the price was.
yeah,
Not 10,000, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah.
but they were giving out money like that back then. But today, a lot of filmmakers are not given that opportunity because they're throwing 300 to 200 million dollars to these franchise films. Meanwhile, the smaller filmmakers are not getting the chance to put their vision onto the big screen like it was about even 20 years ago. And that's the question is being asked: is it hurting the smaller film creators or the up and coming? Like for instance, it that's the whole thing with the whole conversation with the younger generation, the young filmmakers. It's like, oh, I can't make my own idea of a film. I have to make a franchise film, something like that, like a rip-off version of a Star Wars film or a rip-off version of a Marvel film. Like your own ideas are not going to be standing up against Marvel and DC. That's the thing I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah, I think that's a yes and no because those smaller films are still getting created. They're just not getting created in abundance. So yeah, that's definitely a yes and no kind of thing. It can hurt those smaller creators, but that's just that those smaller creators really have to work extra hard just to even get looked at nowadays.
Right.
There's Black Hero. And I don't know about it dying out because there's people like me and I'm sure Black Hero. We're both of the age where comic book films were few and far between. We had Superman and Batman for just those two for just how many years. So the fact that all these heroes are coming out on the big screen or TV, to me that feels pretty special, and I'll keep watching until they stop.
Let me ask this question. How do you think the industry is doing now? How do you feel like the film industry is doing?
Um, I feel like the film industry, it's hard to say right now with the writers and actors strike, and then also coming off the tail end of COVID and whatnot. So it's the film industry is in kind of weird spot because then you got the whole discussion with the theaters and are they kind of dying out as well because of the streaming and whatnot, and now streaming kind of raising their prices up and then cracking down on password sharing. That streaming services are slowly turning into cable again, and you know that brings back to the film industry is that there's any room, kind of like I was saying earlier about like Kevin Smith, is that I think it's Kevin Smith, right? I correct. I think that's his name, Kevin Smith, the Mallrats dude, Clerks and whatnot. But hold on, the film industry is struggling because missing on a bunch of yeah, and that's the thing because back in the day, like I remember when I was growing up, like when DVD releases were like the same hype as it is for the new Spider-Man 2 game that's about to come out. Like that kind of hype used to be back in the day, but now there is no lines out the door of Best Buy or Walmart or Target. I mean, Target's getting rid of all their physical media sections. Some of them are. There's a Target near me that's actually doing that, and it's it's slowly dying. That's the thing that they got that money from the DVD and whatnot, and so also with the royalties and whatnot. But I think to sum it up, I think the film industry is not dying out, as in like it's kind of fading out. I think it's more of like there's a big shift and change is about to happen, and I think that's very variant with the whole actors and writer strike, and now possibly a VFX and CGI artist strike and all that about to happen and whatnot. So I think there's going to be a big shakeup, and it's going to have a ripple effect for all film industry and everything connected to that, to the actors, writers, to the the people behind the scenes, the theaters and whatnot. And that brings back to the subject matter: is that was it due to the comic book films hurting the film industry, or was
Let,
it
let me ask you this. Let me ask this question
yeah, go
like
ahead.
I'm a president. So, when has the film industry actually been good?
Um
From the 1897, The Wizard of Oz first appearance up until now. I mean, like, where in this era has film or theater done good?
mm,
Mm, damn.
not a long
Oh,
period of time. If it has had its moments, I would
yeah.
say. But
No, absolutely. Yeah, a couple
It's
of years
rare. It's
here, like
rare.
after, like people coming back from Vietnam, yeah, absolutely. But I'm talking about in general, like a good, 15, 20 year run where business is booming for the film
Yeah, that's what
industry.
I'm saying. It's kind of rare because I don't think it happened like as long as it was intended to be. So I mean, I think the industry was kind of like getting hit at rock bottom at a certain short point, but after that, nothing really has because to be honest with you, I've seen some movies, all the other stuff, and mostly from all these other movies, like they haven't been hitting as much as it used to be, especially back then and until now. But basically, it doesn't happen as much. So I don't believe that people really notice it as much. If I'm like making myself make sense.
you're making total sense.
Hmm.
I see you're making total sense.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And I guess that goes to my point of if the movie industry hasn't been doing well in year, like they haven't really ever had that peak of like cars. Like we can talk about cars real quick. They've gone from the chariot car to the Lamborghini now, but film industry hasn't really been able to evolve like that.
Hmm.
Oh, hello.
Hey,
What's
welcome
good?
to the
Good. Let's see.
Hello. Those it's those who challenge me by the very elements of Earth herself. I know. Let me guess. You don't know what the fuck that means. I'm gonna get that from Storm from the X-Men.
no,
Yeah, the one who can annihilate Wonder Woman. Let me stop. So, anywho, what's going on here? Are the comic book films hurting the film industry or saving the film industry? To be honest with you, Warner Bros.'s projects have always been ass. Unless it's a Batman movie, it's ass.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean that's a whole thing within itself because there are so many other plethora of characters in DC that they don't show any love to, and they only show love to Batman, which I think me as a DC fan, I think that's you
Wait,
know
wait, wait. Is Ashton Kutcher there? Because you are saying the exactual, factual shit that I've been talking about this whole entire time. I've been telling everybody this shit. This must be a joke right now because you are stating exactly, of course, like where I was coming from. Like, eh, sorry, he was trying to get out of it. You're stating everything that I was talking about. That is 100% true.
yeah.
That is 100% true. It's like this right here. For example, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, also Flash, Green Lantern, and whatchamacallit, Green Lantern, and somebody else.
Aquaman.
Yeah, that motherfucker. See, they always show love to him, and that's cool and all. Those characters have carried DC for the longest, and they still are. But it's like they're very overbearing with them. Like I can't wait to see new Aquaman too. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. Let's see what the hell gonna happen. Ezra
I'm not.
Miller, Ezra Miller, people didn't want to see that Flash, see him as a Flash. But you know what? It is what it is. I really do want them to start putting out projects that are going to tell more of a story. Because you know what? Another theory that I have of my own. I feel like if they automatically put out other characters, they must feel like that, they're afraid that people will stop paying attention to Batman, Wonder Woman, and all these other characters and get ready for these newcomers. You know what I mean? Like people like Nightwing, Damian Woods, Red Hood,
That's what I'm saying.
Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Zatanna. Cheetah was supposed to be getting her own movie. You
Don't
know,
forget Vixen.
Oh yeah, oh yes, Vixen. Who I already got something planned for her. Guess who could play that host? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Teyana Taylor. She would be an amazing person to portray Vixen. Amazing. See, all these characters that we're talking about, also Bane, all these, like, I promise you, I feel like the reason why they don't want to bring these characters close by is because they already noticed that if they were to do that, Batman, Superman, the rest of them that I just named, the Justice League, they will still be recognized, but their followings will just be where it's at right now, but it'll be surpassed based off of the newcomers that we're just talking about, because we've been waiting for so long on these characters, because we keep seeing them in cameos. We keep seeing them, of course, in other features they have with Superman or Batman. You know, it's really annoying. Instead of just giving them their own limelight, we're just pushing them back. Like, for example, Wonder Woman. She's great. I don't like her because people literally, she's overrated. Like, she's an amazing character, but she's been DC's face for more than 2 decades now. More than. And I understand that. But they make it seem as if there is no other woman that can compete with her. And that is a lie. There are so many. Why aren't they getting their shine? Exactly. You better say it. I'm sorry, you in the Rosa Parks section, so I don't think they could hear you. Can you say that one more time?
Nubia, Queen
Ex-
Nubia. I apologize,
exa-
Queen Nubia now.
Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. See, this is what I thought right here. Nubia. Check this out. Check this out, cinema. Check this out.
Gotcha.
I want you to zoom in on me as if you're a Cyclops and you have laser vision. I want you to zoom in on me. Check this out.
I'm paying full attention. Got
Okay, check this out right here. Nubia. She's given an order by, the Amazonians. She said, we must go over there and return Diana to her country right now, to us right now, because she refuses to, because she has her own duties that she's applying. You know what I mean? Nubia goes over there to society. But when she goes over there looking for Diana, telling her to come home, bringing her home, trying to get in touch with her, because the other woman can't, she goes to realize, as her journey begins to explore what's in store for her, she goes to see that there's a life out there. She goes to see that there's a life that she could be living, and all this time she's been royalty, but she's never known what it's like to actually live a normal, decent society in her own way. She never known that because she's always been like a warrior, just fighting constantly. But as she's looking for Diana, trying to get her there, once she finds Diana, she ends up recognizing that all her life she's never had a family tree of her own. She never was able to grow her own seed, her own, way in society, in her own life, in the cities that she's in. She never had the chance to be normal and just experience a great life. She'd never known what that like. And the only way, yes, ma'am. And okay, the only thing that's stopping her is that is her being with the Amazonians. So what I say is, we automatically let Nubia go about her way, do her thing, and be a hero, or no, not a hero, but an anti-hero. Just living life and just taking on missions that she sees that best fits her and everything. I say that. And then the next woman who wants to be Wonder Woman, why not let Donna Troy be her?
Right.
What do you think?
I think you go ahead. You go ahead.
I feel exactly where you're coming from with Wonder Woman. She's a very underrated character, and then,
Overrated.
like you said, all right, yeah, she's overrated, but like when I say underrated, like she's not utilized enough, in my opinion. Where it goes into that, you can explain where Nubia comes from, her mom. You can explain these other women that are just as powerful as her. And like you can tell her story, just like you said. But you did an amazing job. I have no more to add. I 100% agree with you.
Of course, because if you look about it, thank you. But if you look about it right here, it's like with Wonder Woman, they, like, a lot of people know Wonder Woman. They know what she is. They even know the Amazonians without the Amazons actually getting their own fair share. I mean, they've gotten some of them actually gotten their cameo in like the cartoon animated movies, and shows that they've been in and stuff like that. Also in live action movie, most of them. The only person I'm pretty sure we haven't seen is Nubia. But I mean, if she was there too, I'm sorry I missed it. But like, that's true. I just feel like Wonder Woman's role is so heavy to where it's like we need a break. We need a break from her. Like she can continue on, but I would love to see more of Nubia, what she can do. You know what I mean? Just her being her own person, just going up there and just going against crime and everything. You feel me?
My only concern with all of that is that, and I hope I have faith in James Gunn. I really do. I think he has the right idea.
He's
I
already
just
doing good.
hmm? Say
I said, yeah, he's already in the right. He's already in the right direction for sure.
my only concern is I hope they don't fall to and that goes back to the main subject is that because the MC, let's be honest, when I say comic book films, I'm really talking about Marvel Studios because I mean, don't get me wrong, I no disrespect to the Zack Snyder stuff and all, but the MCU has dominated when it comes to comic book films, and just money wise, just giving more diverse and such all that other good stuff. But the thing that DC failed at was trying to reenact or really trying to that's always been the thing with Marvel and DC, even in the comics.
Fuck,
Either
isn't it?
Marvel's chasing after DC or DC's chasing after Marvel, copying what they're doing and re-implying and doing their own thing, but taking the same ideas. And that same thing happened with the movies. And that's the thing. I mean, I have faith in James Gunn 100%, but my only concern is that I hope it doesn't take. I hope he's not following the MC formula because I truly think that DC. The good thing about DC is that yes, they have Batman and Superman and whatnot. You can argue they're the top tier superheroes of all time, but just like you were talking about, there are so many other characters and so many stories. You know, I mean, even within the Bat family alone, there's stuff within that has its own stories. Superman and the characters that we've mentioned, and you know, the bad thing with MCU is that they're trying to do that with their characters like Miss Marvel and Moon Knight, but they're not living up to that expectation like they used to. And DC has that opportunity to really, you know, shine in that area because they have the characters, they have the stories, and they have the eyes on them right now. So that's my main concern.
But now my hot take is the fact that I guess what are you gonna do with? I mean, my hot take, I guess, is what are you gonna do with these? Oh, we're talking about the Marvel and DC movies, but like you said, what about these other films that no one's actually gonna go see? And the question is, how do you get them into the movie theater to go see that too? Because
Let
I
me tell
think,
you.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say like, oh no, 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 no. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. Oh, by the way, I'm not being rude or nasty or anything. I'm not. I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna be real with you. They're gonna see it. DC, everybody, experts of DC's are tired of the Justice League. They want to see something new. And they're the ones that are saying, you know what, this would be cool if Zatanna was doing this. This would be cool if Green Lantern have his real movie, a movie that's actually, you know, good, instead of that Ryan Reynolds shit. R.I.P. We want to see more of this right here, more content. We just can't keep seeing the exact same basic shit. Oh, Injustice 2, oh, Aquaman, oh, another Wonder Woman movie, oh, another Batman movie. No, 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 no. People are even crying. People are lucky enough they got Blue Beetle. They're crying. They're crying. He's just laying in bed, sitting there.
Did
He's on the
any of you
phone.
watch the Justice League Unlimited series back in the day?
Yeah, I did.
See, it's cute. It's cute. I'm not gonna lie, it's cute. It's
Well, I
alright.
think they were hitting on something that I think the live action films could take a couple notes, even the Marvel Studios, is that they were building their universe out. They took time to build their world around them. And yes, they had the main characters like Batman, Superman, and whatnot, but eventually it started with Justice League, but then they went into Justice League Unlimited and then started bringing these other characters that no one really knew about, like Booster Gold and whatnot. And, you know, I think that's something that James Gunn's going to do and take because he's a big fan of those shows, and he's also reading the comics. And I think you know, just
Um,
looking at the slate as it is, I've, but I'm trying to bring it back to the main subject is that you know that's the thing is even the comic book films hurting themselves as well.
I do feel like they are, but then the question is like, why do we need it on the big screen? Why can't we just have a good TV show like Justice League Unlimited and call it a day? I don't really need it on the big screen. You can make it into a CW film or like a, uh, straight to TV movie film. Like, I don't need to see it on the big screen.
I hate to break it to you. The last, I mean, I know there's some people that love the CW stuff, but the last real good superhero film show when it comes to Marvel and DC was Daredevil. But the comic book shows that are actually thriving and being successful are non-Marvel and DC related, like the Boys, the Invincibles, or the Invincible, and you know stuff like that. They're making the shine, and that's another thing is that Marvel and DC is a franchise, you know, business and films and whatnot, but then you have like Dark Horse, Image Comics. Like, where's a Spawn film? Where's our good Spawn film? I mean,
Yeah, I
don't
was
get me
just about to
wrong.
say that
I
too.
love the one back in the day, but like, we need a good one. So,
It's like this right here. We're gonna put. Oh, I'm sorry, Kia. You trying to say something?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with him.
Okay. Hold on, just a moment, y'all. What's going on here?
But see,
Oh
now
my God.
I disagree with that Spawn film theory because, all right, we had a Spawn film, but it bombed in the box office, which is another thing. Like, if we go back in the time, they do have superhero movies, bro. They have, Meteor Man, Hancock. They had, I don't count Blank Man, but it was like a comedy superhero movie. They had Kick-Ass. They had like a lot of superhero. They had Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. I mean, it's been a lot of superhero movies.
well, there is a difference with some of them because some of them were grounded and taking themselves seriously, while the other ones, like that '90s straight to DVD Fantastic Four film, and also the Captain America film, also that '70s three live action Spider-Man films, like. But
No, brother, let me tell you something. When it's time to get lit, it's time to get motherfucking lit. We need to see something new, and we need to see it now. We need to see it ASAP. We need
Oh,
this. It has to come together. Warner Bros. Like the only hope that's keeping y'all up was that Bat movie that Robin Patterson did back in the day, like last year, whatever, and this Blue Beetle movie. Literally, still keeping them up.
so the
They're
thing is, so the thing is with James Gunn and all this other stuff with the Superman movie, they actually I think they did list that the Justice League is actually going to be in that movie because he actually fast forward through time. So basically, we don't have to go through all the origin stories, see the same bullshit over and over again. So mostly for that, everybody already knows what's going on. Like, oh, you got Justice League, you got Hot Girl, you got Martian Manhunter, you got Mr. Terrific, and all the other stuff. So going forward with this, you said with Warner Bros. Too. Warner Bros. is just it's just they need to find some more people that are people that are well known and like put them in the industry and actually put it in order to actually collide the two characters that are mostly identical or mostly that could be in the same movie and that are relatable. So like for instance, um Batman, saying like hypothetical, make a Batman movie, and then next thing you have a Nightwing movie, but fast forward with that, and sometime they're gonna mash up into the same movie and do the same shit, like those type of things.
mhm.
But like you was saying, or Miss You was saying, it's like I don't want to see another Batman and Superman movie. Like, please stop doing the same movie over and over again. Like, let's start with something new. You don't have to start with Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. You can start with, you can take a leap, take a chance, and start with Damian Wayne, or you can start with uh, Icon Man and Rocket. That would be fine. You can start
exactly.
So
anywhere.
so the
See
thing
that
is
this
with
see
that
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
So the thing is with that, they're already doing that right now. Like what I said with the Superman Legacy, they already have the form Justice League. Everything is already fast forward in time. We don't have to look at their origin stories anymore. Batman Brave and the Bold. You already have Batman, and I believe the Robin is going to be Damian. So then that's mostly all we need to introduce more characters, like like Nightwing, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and get their like their little solo movies, background on everybody else. And then with fast forward Batman Brave and the Bold, you go to another maybe like one or two movies of like of that, and then have a relatable movie such like Nightwing and Batman in the same movie, and then you go on from there.
Yeah, bro, I hear you, but now you're talking about how many years? 8, 9 years? When do I get my Icon and Rocket? Because like that is nowhere in the mix. When do we get Static Shock? Because now that they're redoing it and spending money on the stories of the big three, we're still missing out on valuable characters. Like, yeah, they're gonna have Mr. Terrific. Yeah, they're gonna have Black Canary. But how much,
Mm-hmm.
bro? I don't want a whole nother Black Adam movie. Like, I didn't like that
Let me
movie.
let me tell you something about Static Shock. I'm with the whole Miles Morales thing going on right now. They could, I'm telling you, if they had put Static Shock out, even if a live action show for, I mean, just man, I love Static Shock. I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of Static Shock. But also I think Blue Beetle kind of was. I don't know if it's going to be part of the new DCEU or not, but I think how Blue Beetle handled it was perfect. Like they hinted at Superman, they hinted at Batman, and I think that that's a perfect way. Find a character that is not really less known, give him some love, and introduce the world around him through his eyes, through his perspective, and then we go into all these other characters and whatnot.
Oh, cinema. Wait, so you're saying the Blue Beetle movie they introduced like Batman and Superman in there, like international stuff like that?
Don't y'all have to repeat that because y'all are echoing.
Hey, Rudy.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
No, but
Go
I
ahead.
was
Who
saying
asked
with
that
that
question?
Blue Beetle movie, you said that they hinted at with the Batman and Superman. I didn't really watch it, so
Oh, I'm bad. My bad.
no. You can spoil it. You can spoil it. I don't care. I'll still watch it today. I'm just asking.
It
Yo,
was
did
very,
you know in that movie? My bad. What? My
it
bad, bro.
was,
Go
it
ahead.
was subtle. It was not in your face. It wasn't like, I mean, George Lopez made one joke about Batman, and I think that's in the trailer. They make a reference to Superman in the film, but
Yeah,
like that's the thing. That's the kind of world building I love. Is that it's not in
yeah.
your face,
That's what I'm
but it's
saying.
subtle.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like with the Blue Beetle movie, if you do that, like hint at other characters in a movie that people are not well known of, such as Blue Beetle, you can mostly relate him to them and put him in that little verse of like Superman and Batman, Nightwing, and all the others. And like you said earlier, I don't know who it was, but basically like saying like bring the get some things from the TV shows. Like for instance, you could bring in like the Teen Titans or the Young Justice. Well, in the comics, actually the recent comic, Blue Beetle actually teamed up with the Justice League to take down a big ass threat, and he's just got his powers. Like this is a new current Blue Beetle. So if you do that, you can mostly introduce him into an entire different team and introduce other characters and get them little spin-offs as well. And also you don't have to wait other you like you said like what wait like 9 years or something like that. And I'm gonna say if so, most of you don't got to do all that because you can still make like multiple other movies of different characters. Like you said like Icon, Static Shock, make like mostly let's say like maybe Kid Flash, Wally West, Robin, and all the other people, and introduce them, and then try to put it in order of the people that you want to introduce, so we can get a good fluid verse of the DCU, like how Marvel does it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, that right there will be good. And here's another thing. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to apply. I want to apply this right here. I want to say that I would love to see like a nice Catwoman movie, another Catwoman movie done like specifically just the way it's supposed to. Even though I love the Halle Berry one,
Hmm.
without a doubt, because she brought her own style and aesthetic, and they weren't even trying to make it like the comics. They weren't. They really, really weren't at all. I'm very blessed with that. I like to have like a Catwoman movie or something. That's one.
Yeah, and that's the thing with all these other characters. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I want James Gunn. If you said that he reads the comics, correct, Cinema?
Yes, correct.
If he reads the comics,
then I swear he should be the one that's doing the bag with these movies.
No,
You need to have.
oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say you mostly need all the techniques and that you have about reading those comics and like all the knowledge that you know and put those in the movie. Maybe change some things around a little bit because some things don't make sense in comics. So you have to have that power to actually change it around and make it make sense to where you can have a fluid as movie.
No, see, here's another thing. And I was feeling like this right here. Put this in motherfuckers' mouths. I say that Rosario Dawson, she'll do an amazing Catwoman. Y'all know who that is, right?
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. But I heard, okay, bro, I also heard you talking about Marvel. I disagree with the fact that like we're giving Marvel all this credit, bro. And it's like Marvel did not make it out until Captain America. They did good on one real movie. They did. I'm gonna give them their props. I mean, Iron Man was amazing, but then it's like, uh, uh, then they kind of did okay with Captain America. Then they did good with Thor, but then it started backsliding until Avengers Endgame. My point is, bro, it's like I don't feel like they did anything magical. I feel like they had a good run with Iron Man. They made 3 of those. They were able to introduce each character. They just fell into it at the perfect time.
Oh no, that's not
That's
that's
my
not what I'm
opinion on
Yo,
it.
saying.
hold on. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You said that the Captain America trilogy wasn't all that.
No disrespect. I'm not saying that it wasn't. What I'm saying, bro, is I don't know. I'm not a huge Marvel fan. I don't want to ruffle no feathers, but like I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me.
I mean, bro, you had Winter Soldier, the first Avenger, and Civil War. Now, the first Avenger, I can be like, okay, it was all right. But Civil War and the Winter Soldier, bro,
Oh no!
come
I don't
on, bro.
count those. Okay. I didn't count
But
those.
those are Captain America movies though, because it says Captain America Civil War, Captain America the
I
Winter Soldier.
I
So
feel
that's
you.
that's
I
like
That
feel
goes
you.
back
one
to
Yeah,
what
but
I
I
was
was
trilogy.
talking about like the first Captain America. But those were really, really good. But like I was saying, I give them their credit. They did it at a perfect time, and they introduced the characters perfectly. They got a win for that. But what I'm saying is that if that Iron Man movie wouldn't have worked out, they wouldn't have been able to do that.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not giving them their props like that. All I'm saying is like DC or James Gunn should mostly go that approach starting off because like for instance, Zack Snyder, his shit was just random and it was too rushed. That's what I did not like about it. That's why it went downhill. You should have just if you're going to start this off, you should have introduced all the characters, the new characters like with a new Batman and a new Superman. You should have introduced their own movies and then worked them up into the exact same movie, and then
Hold
Yeah.
form
hold
Justice
on,
But
League.
hold on,
yeah.
hold on, hold on, hold on. But what you're explaining is exactly the formula that Marvel was doing.
Yo, no,
That's
that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying though. But like, even though, so you have to like, be careful of the characters that you do it with because there are certain things that can backfire. So for instance, all these fans and everybody else, because most people really don't like the movies if they're not kind of comic accurate when it comes to it, or something that it don't make sense. So that's what I'm saying. If he reads the comics and if he switch it around just a little bit and make it make sense, and have it comic accurate, he will please the fans and it will go as well.
yeah. I see where you're going with that. The thing I'm trying to say is that yeah, like the formula of the Marvel Studios, it's not preferably what you love when it comes to like individual films, but the formula that they created, because I mean, it wasn't the first time a cinema or film or TV show, it ain't the first time they try to bring in a cinematic universe. Marvel was the one that made it actually successful because you pay attention to the environment around them, which goes back to the original topic, was that Marvel created this feel this new way of thinking with the studios is that, oh, we got to be like Marvel because how they're building their cinematic universe. They try to do it with the Universal Monsterverse. They're trying to do it now with the whole
Oh,
Godzilla.
nah. You don't gotta do it like that. I mean, just like a timeline. Like you don't have to do like multiverse, what the fuck I'm talking about? Multiversal. I say multiverse. Is it multiverse of madness, right? I'm not tripping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you don't have to lead up to like different categories. So multiverse of madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, to where you introduce like the other Spider-Man into another universe and come to yours and help you out stuff thing. It's just like you should have some of the characters that are mostly important to the storyline that you're going with in order and build it up. So it's just that's mostly how it's going to be like with every or like most franchise and when you make a movie. So like for instance, if I made like John Wick 1 and then who's the black guy that was in that movie as well?
Oh, he passed away. I can't remember his name right now.
I,
Crap. What
I,
is? He was in the Wire too. Crap. What is his name?
or like, all right, so let's say like I make a John Wick 1 movie, but then there's another guy that black
Get your
guy.
gun, partner.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if you add him, if you make a movie about him, you should have their two different little singular movies, and then mostly hint at the other movie just to get a little taste of it, and then merge it while you're going with it. So that's mostly how it is with other different movie franchises, but you don't have to do it exactly like how Marvel did.
Yeah.
I believe that Marvel got lucky. Like, let me give this illustration. So
Exactly.
the Chicago Bulls, they got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, and they were able to win their championships back to back. That's all that happened to Marvel, you guys. Like, I don't want to build them up. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be ugly about it. I don't want to,
Oh
bring them
no,
up.
no, you good. You good.
Yeah, I don't want to bring them up because it's like, man, they just got the winning
Yeah,
team. They got the best creators. They had the best timing,
exactly.
best story, but they didn't really do that. It was just a wave, and they went with it. And here's the proof, because now all their stuff is mid.
Well,
Well, hold on. I had something to say about that too, actually, because I mean,
go ahead.
so
Hold on. Is it Rudy? Rudy, have you gone
yeah.
yet?
No, he has. He's going right now.
Go ahead, Rudy. Yeah.
So the one thing I don't have a problem with, everyone's gonna have their own opinions, of course. It's just I try to break it down as to majority of the Marvel movies aren't amazing, and I'm a Marvel fan, so I can say that because I rewatched all of them, literally all of them, like last weekend, and majority of them were not amazing, but they were good at what they did. They set shit up perfectly for the next movie to come around, and to me, I think that's the formula DC necessarily tried to do, but they rushed it too much, with Zack
Yeah, that's
Snyder
what
and
I'm
all
trying to
that
say.
shit going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And so the one thing that I feel like what Marvel did way better than DC is like Marvel took so from Iron Man 1 to Infinity War was like 10 plus years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Infinity War was an amazing movie, but it took them 10 years to come to that. So I feel like a lot of the Marvel hype came from Infinity War and Endgame. And when people say Marvel fell off, I'm just like, well, Marvel's doing the same thing they've always been doing, is creating not amazing,
The
but
build up.
decent to good movies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also Black. Also, you said that when they fell off, like they're not producing no more good movies right now. The thing is, they're doing the same thing what they just did. It's just that now since we already have a taste of that, it's nothing new. So they got like the Shang-Chi, all this other stuff. They actually introduced Daredevil into Spider-Man. So then going on forward, we're about to have Secret Wars. So mostly, I don't know if you read comics or not, but with Secret Wars, they're going to start introducing characters that we so much love. They might mostly introduce Miles Morales, or we might get Miles Morales even before Infinity War. Mostly, maybe like one or two movies before it.
I hope
So
so.
that I'm saying, yeah. So that's the thing. So mostly with that, it's like they're doing that with Marvel, and that's where we're about to get hit with. So like with the Spider-Man comic right now, That shit fell the fuck off. But then they turned around and flipped it out on us because everything that's going on with Peter Parker and shit.
Oh yeah,
Nobody
he
really.
got that goblin spirit in him. And he's going
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
gonna say nobody liked the comic because of what's going on with Peter Parker and what the storyline was going on. But then you have to realize, oh, Mary Jane isn't with him no more. He just broke up with his other girlfriend. What's her name? Emma Watson gets goddamn.
He
What's
was
her name?
with he was with Black Cat for just for a
Yeah,
second. Then she left him for some dumb reason.
yeah, and then who did Green Goblin kill again? Emma Watson? Who am I?
Mm,
What's her name? The blonde girl.
I know you're
Blonde hair
talking
girl.
about. I know you're talking about. I just can't remember her name right now. I have to look that up.
Gwen Stacy? Are you talking
Yeah,
about
Gwen
Gwen?
Stacy. I don't know why I was saying Emma Watson. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah,
That's Harry Potter, huh?
Green Goblin killed Gwen Stacy and shit like that. So all that thing is like holding him down. Even though we still know that Spider-Man keeps his head up, he's still hurting inside. So with all that build up from that, now we got this new issue with him getting the sins of the Green Goblin, and he now has the black suit. So then that turns around about, okay, I'm about to fuck y'all up of everything that y'all did to me, and I'm about to make y'all suffer for it. So that was a huge ass turnaround. That was better. Warner better hope that Flowers movies don't drop.
Oh, you're talking about the one with the what's his name? It's the Kill of the Flower Moon movie is coming out later this year. It's about that what's his name? The dude from Wolf of Wall Street and Titanic. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Leonardo
Leonardo
DiCaprio?
Oh,
DiCaprio.
Leonardo,
Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, he's in.
I do like that.
Hold on, I got somebody coming out.
But then that goes back into the question if superhero movies are saving cinema. Like with all these discussions and all these hopes, it seems like Marvel Studios is going to make more streaming movies because when like all the other Marvel movies have been not doing so well. What's the next one? Thor was the last one. It didn't do well. Inhumans did okay.
And
So
humans.
with the humans, like the humans like Black Bolt and all of them. So
That was a movie
mostly,
though?
huh?
I meant the not the Inhumans. The Inhumans
Eternals,
were there, but
Eternals,
no,
Multiverse of
bro,
Madness, you mean?
no, with
Eternals.
Oh, you're talking about
Angelia,
Multiverse of Madness.
no, in Eternals,
Yeah,
Angelia
Eternals.
Jolie,
With the
Internal.
with the five
yeah,
people. Yeah,
Eternals,
Eternals.
Yeah, Eternals.
Eternals. My bad, yeah.
Yeah. So with the side shows, I believe those are mostly introducing the other characters. So She-Hulk, Daredevil, Moon Knight, all the little side characters that mostly people didn't really think about, and then they're now adapting them into the universe and actually relating to them. That's the thing that they do so well. So mostly, make a whole TV show, and then get the people that into the TV show and actually like them, and then move them over into the main universe of the MCU, and then make a storyline with them as well, and introduce them to bigger events.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'm concerned about, even though I'm very excited about it, because I'm a comic book. I love comic books. Because they're about to go into Secret Wars and all that, which
Mm-hmm.
that I truly, if anything, I think that's the most important film that they need to really bring out their A game on, because that film, it could either go really good like the Endgame and Infinity War, or it could really and that's the thing. The Secret Wars is the reflection of every comic book film that has come out in the last 20 years, and this is before the MCU, because you're bringing in comic book films that weren't a part of the MCU. Because you look at films like Spider-Man: No Way Home, and how they brought in Toby and Andrew, and I think they're hitting a meta level of taking old films that didn't work and bringing it in, and because they're running out of ideas, and so they're bringing all these other films that didn't work out and giving creators a different chance to retell that story. Because Spider-Man right now, the whole Spider-Verse stuff going on right now, is that's my thing, is that is comic book films really hurting the industry or not? Because back in the day, film studios wouldn't work together like they are now with the comic book stuff, and that's where a lot of the smaller filmmakers and whatnot kind of get their voices silenced out a little bit because now the studios are so focused on, because even though, yes, they're not doing good as in, quality, but the money is still adding up. Some of them are, they don't really flop. They still make their money back, except for The Flash. Don't even get me started on that.
No, Jesus.
But
Jesus.
yeah, like that's my thing is like, yeah, they'll continue to do this as long as the money still starts to, calm down. Like if the film, like, when's the last time we had a comic book film hit $1 billion? Really? Last time was Spider-Man No Way Home, I believe, right?
Shit.
I think Avengers did, right? Endgame.
I think it was Spider-Man No Way Home. I think it was like the only film since, because you had The Flash, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder. Don't get me started on that film. Let's see, Blue Beetle. You had Across the Spider-Verse, but I don't know if that made $1 billion or not. But it made very close to it. And that's my thing. Also, you look at films like Avatar, the sequel to that, and the sequels that will come after that. And I think there's
Which
a lot
phase
of.
are we on, by the way?
Say what?
I said, which phase are we on, by the way? Oh, never
Phase
mind. I
five.
found it.
Phase five. Phase five.
Yeah, I'm on it right now. So yeah, what they have with the Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy, Loki. They're gonna have Blade after this, so introducing Blade. And so is he gonna have? It's a movie, right, or not a TV show for
That's a
Blade?
movie.
Hey, I apologize for interrupting. Hey, I might have, or I will be hopping out soon. But look, Andre says that his live access doesn't work. But I'm not sure. Could you send him a request maybe and see if that'll work? Get him up. I would like to hear his thoughts because he says that he's like into the film producing.
Does he have 1,000 followers?
I don't have 1,000 followers.
Yeah, you don't need 1,000 followers to hop up. You just can't show your face.
Oh, okay. I don't know. He's not. Let me see if I can follow him. I'll follow him. I don't know why it's not. Because usually it shows me if someone can go live, they'll ask me if I can invite them or not. But he's not showing anything. That's weird.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with this, bro, they're gonna introduce Blade. They're about to introduce Agatha with some of her new abilities. Because I don't know if you guys know, but in Scarlet Witch, Agatha is now she already had her powers, but like mostly they wrote about Agatha in the comics and recently, and now they're about to make a movie about her. Captain America: New World Order. That's mostly going to be Sam Wilson. That's the new Captain America. We have him in the comics already. Secret Invasion. I hope that goes around with what's her name as the Black Panther, that R.P. Chadwick Boseman, but mostly with her, with the Skrulls trying to invade Wakanda. If they do the same shit that they did in the comic, that would be epic. Echo, you have the Marvels, Ironheart, you're about to have Daredevil Born Again, which is gonna be fucking fire, and you're gonna have the Thunderbolts that people mostly don't know about. So that's gonna be that's a good lead up.
Mm.
And
And
introducing
that's going to be the proof actually, because with all these projects they're working on to put in the cinema, if the first one bombs, second one bombs, I'm going to be pretty sure that they're not going to release those other ones.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, I know they've been doing a whole rechange in their schedule and whatnot. This is before the actors and writer strike. They were limited because I think they were getting rid of some of the shows, either turning them into films or just not focusing on them and focusing on putting more quality into their content. Because I believe it came down from Bob Iger and I can't remember the dude's name that ran Disney for like the past 2 years, and then he ran it almost into the ground, and so Bob Iger had to jump back in there and do his thing. So yeah, so they had to retain because the guy that took over Bob Iger's position was like basically firing all the people that made Disney and Marvel great and just bringing in all his friends and buddies to take their jobs. And that's how Disney was kind of going downhill. So I'm kind of interested to see with the Bob Iger back and Kevin Feige back, I'm interested to see what the next couple of years are going to bring. Are we going to go back into the old phase 1, 2, 3 years? Because the past four, because last phase 4 and phase 5 have been the example of the owner that took over, but now the old owner taking Bob Iger back into the role again. I wonder what they're. I want to see what they're going to do and see how they're going to go from there. So, but I mean, Loki season, the first episode of Loki season 2 just blew me away. So, they need to get the people that was writing that episode and put them into Secret Wars because they know what they're doing. So.
Oh yeah, I need to watch Loki season 2. By the way, I need to watch that already.
Yeah.
Cinema, you wanna share that Disney Plus? No, just fine. But it's just I'm about to start getting into that, see what's going on. What happened, by the way? And like I said, I don't really care about spoilers. I'm still gonna watch either way. So,
What first episode, season 2? I mean, first episode.
Yeah, episode season 2 is how many episodes? Just one or?
It just premiered Friday, I think. So.
What happened in there? Like, who they show? Or unless you don't want to say
it wasn't really what they showed, but how they were explaining the multiverse and setting it up, and the whole. It's hard to explain because a lot happened in that episode. Basically, you've seen Ant-Man 3, right?
Yeah.
Did you think Kang the Conqueror? Did you feel him as a threat in that film?
As a threat, let me see. I believe that he was a threat, but I don't think he had all the materials to make him a bigger threat than what he actually could be.
Let me ask you this way: Did you get the same feeling you got for Thanos and Darth Vader?
No.
Okay, so in this new episode of Loki, the first episode, he didn't show up, but his presence was known and the fear was there. It was definitely there. The fear that we get from the comics, and he's a threat. That multiple Kangs are a threat, and how if you really do a deep dive, you have to watch it for yourself. It's hard to explain what goes on, but how they kind of set it up and how Kang is already invading other universes from different time periods from the past, and so some of the present stuff and future stuff is starting to get shooken up and tore apart. It's just
I got you.
But how they did it was very Inceptionist or Interstellar, if you will.
Yeah.
So, and a subtle hint to X-Men and Fantastic Four as well.
See, and that's the thing. So Fantastic Four is already coming up. With X-Men, I don't know what kind they're going to do for that. They might do Uncanny X-Men, or they just might do like Wolverine is going to be in that new Deadpool. When is Deadpool coming out, by the way? Do you know?
It was supposed to come out next year, but since with the strikes, I think it got pushed back. Might be into 2025. I think the only film that might come out next year for Marvel is the Captain America film.
Okay, so with that, I believe that if they're doing that, they are going to have, the Wolverine and Deadpool movie. And then with this, they're going to lead into the X-Men right after that. And that's where, or they might, also show like other mutant people, other mutant characters as well before they lead up to it. It just depends on which path they lead to.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think kind of coming to a close here. So give me y'all's last thoughts about, how you feel about the question of the whole discussion of, do you think comic book films are hurting the film industry or saving or helping the film industry and whatnot? So.
It's more like half and half. Like obviously, it's gonna have your little build up, and people don't like it, so they're mostly not gonna try and buy or try to go watch the movie. But obviously, people are going to do it anyways. So mostly, you just have to wait until you build it up, and then you get that big climax to see what's going on. But if it hits, then yeah, they mostly are helping it out. But right now, it's just hurting. But I'm pretty sure it's going to help out at the end of the run.
All right. You guys mind if I put a little input on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like not to like backtrack all the way, but like go back to 2008, like before the first Iron Man came out, right? The
Mhm.
movies we had back then were like the original Superman. I believe the Dark Knight Begins just came out around that time. So the DC people that we're eating up, we're getting all these movies, and then Iron Man comes out. And back then, Iron Man was, I think, what, like a C tier hero. The Avengers weren't really that popular,
Yeah.
and then they came in, made an Iron Man movie, put all their money into that, and came out on top. And then the post-credit scene when Nick Fury came out, and that kind of got the ball rolling, right? And then when Infinity War and Endgame came around, yeah, those were like the big billion-dollar movies. But what I think hurts Marvel, they hurt themselves, and also the fans hurt Marvel, is everyone expects every movie to be a blockbuster,
Mhm.
which is what's hurting the industry. And as like we see nowadays going to the movies, like every movie is now like at 2 hours, 2 hours 30 minutes. And a lot of movies that are coming out lately, like not just Disney, but like pretty much 70% of the movies that have come out all this year have all bombed. And I don't think that's due to like streaming services or the pandemic or anything. That's just movie industries having the expectation that the more we put into a movie, the longer the movie is, then the better that we'll do. But I don't think people want to be going to the theater and be sitting there for 2.5 hours. I think like honestly for me, like I love Marvel, I love DC, like I'm the minority that loved Eternals somehow. Uh, but honestly, some of the best times I have at the theater is like the movies that are like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That man, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you.
I forgot about those. Those existed. I forgot about that.
You ever watched Daredevil? Any of y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that.
Man, I'll tell you, man. Y'all were around when they canceled all the Netflix shows and Daredevil got canceled right after that good season three.
Bro, I was so damn mad.
And then I can't tell you, I didn't expect it when I went to go see Spider-Man No Way Home. The second he shows up with his hand with the
I was
cane,
hyped. Oh my
the
god, bro.
theater went nuts. It went
I
nuts.
would too, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the thing that we needed, bro. Like when I seen him in there, and I was just like, "That's what should happen." Like, oh, by the way, I forgot. There's a price. Our price went down. By the way, have you guys noticed that with the gas and shit like that,
Hmm.
bro? I'm so glad. But yeah, no. Back to it was just like, yeah, it's just I'm so glad that they did that, and that was a smart ass move because if you're gonna cancel that at least, because he already has the hype that it is, so it makes sense to just put him in there to help him out. And then when I heard about when I heard about a lawyer, I was like, it better not be him, bro. I said it better not.
I would argue his audience reaction was bigger than Andrew and Toby's, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
Even though they all did, they all three did, but that's the thing. Like the past Marvel films, except for Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Across the Spider Verse, those are only two Marvel films since Spider-Man No Way Home has had like a audience reaction and people having a lot of buzz about it. You know,
Exactly.
but also, I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of that had to do with COVID and now with the strike. Is not granted. I want the writers and actors to get paid and everything. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it's there ever since I would say 2020. Like it's just been the film industry all around, not just comic books and whatnot, have had a lot of obstacles to really have a chance to even get their start again in a way. And someone brought it up in the chat. I don't know who did that, but they brought up a good point. Is that the horror films have been making a comeback a little bit, the past 2 years, and so I'm starting to see, and that's the thing. Genre films have the run. I'm starting to see. I'm not saying comic book film genre is dying out, but I think it's getting the sponge is not as juicy as it was. It's starting to dry up a little bit, and the other genres are starting to move in. But they're the thing with the horror films is also the same problem is that a lot of them are just franchise. Like the Halloween stuff, Scream and Conjuring and all that. And now they brought back what was that one they came out with?
Exorcist.
Yeah,
I'm about to
it's
watch it tomorrow.
so yeah.
That's another thing. I went to go see Saw X last week, and the previous Marvel movie. So at my theater, what the theater usually does is they have like a special screening, like probably 2 days before the release date.
Yeah.
And when I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy, like 2 days before the release date, there were like barely anyone in the theater. Like there was like a nice sizable crowd. But then when I went to go see Saw X last week, the same 2 day early screening, there was way more people in that movie than Guardians of the Galaxy, and that honestly surprised me.
Yeah, someone brought it in the chat. Yeah, because the one that made a billion, two films that made billion this year were Mario and Barbie. Which, if you were to ask me last year if that would have been the case, I'm like no. But you have, and that's the thing. You have Spider-Man, and that's you want to say the franchise films or because you have Oppenheimer and all of that, and people are hype about that. That my theater was packed to the crazy. It was like watching a Marvel film, and so I do think some films like A24 is definitely making a rise and all that, but I don't know. I guess whoever said it's 50-50, I think it is 50-50, but I think that's what I was mentioning earlier in this stream is that I don't think it's dying out. I think there's a bigger change happening in the film industry and it's a ripple effect. We're seeing it with the writers and the actors, the VFX stuff, and we're going to see it in the theaters too. The theaters are, they're desperate right now. I can't even imagine. I used to work in the theaters. I can tell you they're really scraping coins and everything. I mean, Regal went bankrupt earlier this year, so which is crazy. Yeah.
Now back to Marvel with Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home. Do you think the cameos of those characters, like the other two Spider-Man, Matt Murdock, and of course the Illuminati, do you guys think that their inclusion in the movie changed your view on like the movie as a whole?
No.
What you talking about? You said
Because like usually I see some people like go into the movie and like with Spider-Man No Way Home, people like personally I love the movie. Like without like if they weren't included, I would have loved the movie all the same. But some people like I see on TikTok or on Twitter, the only thing they say is I loved Daredevil in it. I loved all the Tobey Maguire characters. I loved all the Andrew Garfield characters. And then when you ask them about the plot, they are like, "What plot?" Like they don't have any input on the plot at all. Even with Multiverse of Madness, like when people ignore the cameos, they go to the plot and they say this was more of a Scarlet Witch movie than Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, I can see where you're going because Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of it had to do with the cameos of Andrew and Toby, and also that side of Matthew Murdock showing up, and then the villains as well. But I made a video about this last year because they were questioning is Spider-Man No Way Home actually a good film or not, and I made the argument. I'm like, well, if you can look at the Spider-Man films like from the Toby and Andrew stuff, and look at those as like a kind of like how they did with the Phase 1, 2, and 3. They were hitting on a common theme that what didn't have a resolution or a revelation of the theme of in being selfish and selfless, and the Spider-Man character and how selfless he is. And I think Spider-Man No Way Home was that conclusion to all the other films that capped that off, had a good send off for Andrew and Toby. I mean, I don't know if they're going to come back. I've heard rumors, but I think that film served its purpose. I think that's my point. As long as the cameos serve the plot, I'm fine with that. But if they're just there just to pop up and say, "Hey, I'm here" and whatnot, like kind of like how they did with Thor, the Dark World, where they had Captain America show up with Loki changing his appearance and stuff like that. I was like, we really didn't need all that. But.
Yeah, I don't think we really needed Thor: The Dark World. Period.
Now, what are your guys' expectations on Deadpool 3? Because Like Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, yeah, like that would make a good movie. But then all the announcements of Elektra coming out, the older X-Men, I forgot what other characters were also announced to show up. Like, I feel like the Deadpool and Wolverine parts will like be amazing and will be as good as their Deadpool 1 and 2. But once it starts going into all the other universes and all the other cameos are going to pop up, I am worried that Marvel is going to fixate on those universes and not and ignore like the bigger problem for like 10 minutes of gags.
I think it will work if they live up to what they did in the comics, is that everything was a reboot. And I've been hearing rumors and whispers that that's what they're trying to do with Secret Wars, is that they're going to try to reboot everything that has come before, not even Marvel Studios, but the X-Men universe and all the other lingering universes as well. So, and if Deadpool 3 is anything like the Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, then I think we're in for a great, crazy film.
Big ass
I
reboot
think
right
no
there.
matter what, it's going to be good. But before any of those things, it definitely needs to be talked about that this thing was being made and produced right in the center of the writer's strike. And the effect we're going to see on it in it.
Well, if you've seen the Adam Project, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the director who did that is directing the Deadpool 3. So I'll have all the faith in the world. Because let me put it this way. Hugh Jackman would not come back to be Wolverine if he's read the plot and think it's worthy enough to come back for it. And I think we're in for a good film, to be honest with you. And also, if you grew up watching the X-Men films, it's going to be our X-Men Endgame, if you will.
You know what's crazy, bro? Is that when you said about the dang writer strike, what if in this new movie of Deadpool they like mention that in there, and then they do a little parody spin off of doing something to the writers? That would be fucking fried. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, they would. They definitely would. Yeah. Yeah. But
Film is evolving like it always does. Well, of course. They need to bring back the damn 2010 CGIs though. We get tired of seeing this wonky CGIs now.
right. I always make the argument that the Iron Man suits looked way better in the beginning than they did later on in the MCU.
Yeah, like what's going on, man? Like why is it doing that?
Yo, so that's something I wanted to bring up and something to bring up to existence 420 in the comments. The reason I said CGI is killing film is the fact that CGI has become so now commonplace and overused. It's being done poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at the Flash movie.
Don't get me started on that, Phil. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, but like, look at some of these current projects. Look at the CGI and tell me those poor workers aren't dying at this point.
Oh, they're forming what to call it, unions and stuff right now. So we might get another strike even if the actors do come to an agreement with the MPA, whatever that's called, APM. But if the VFX and CGI people go on strike, the actors and writers ain't doing a thing.
Then
why are they on strike again, bro?
Studios want to use AI, so like specifically for the writers, studios want to pay them just to like write the script, and if there's something that they don't like in the script, they will just use like Chat GPT or something to rewrite it and not pay the writers. And then with actors, one of the main things, because it's mostly to do with like background actors. So what studios want to do is they want to do a one-time scan of the background actor's full body and pay them for 1 day of work, and then they own that scan for like the rest of time to use in whatever they want. They don't have to pay any royalties to that actor.
Dang, I should have made that a topic of the discussion. I know that topic is hot.
That could be its own thing.
Wait, so they're like they're full body scans. So like, are they using that for like the actual
Did
characters in the movie?
did you
Oh, they've been
see
doing
Not
that
like
for a
not
while.
like main characters, but like say like we're watching a Marvel movie, they're out doing whatever, and then there's like a coffee shop in the background, people eating, drinking, whatever. Like those
Oh,
people at the coffee shop are the ones that are going to be CGI'd in.
like did
oh,
Well, a
you
lot of
see
the
I think it was Mandalorian season 3 or something where they had Luke and it was just like a carbon copy of the original actor.
oh, you talking about the Mandalorian shit?
Yeah, when they brought in Luke Skywalker
Yeah,
again.
that shit was horrendous.
And you just
that's a little different. That's a little different. Yes, it does. I wouldn't consider it AI. I think it's more of the deep fake they have. The technology with that has also improved as well. Because they actually had a body double and also had Mark Hamill at this for the cameo in Mandalorian season 2, but also in no, was it in season 2? Oh, I'm thinking Boba Fett. No, was it Boba Fett? When did he show up again?
I forget what.
Luke showed up at the end of season 1 of The Mandalorian. Then he
Yeah.
also showed up in the middle of, I think, season 3.
Yeah, because Ahsoka was with him training little baby or Grogu. That had to have been Boba. Yeah, it was Boba Fett because halfway through the season of Boba Fett, they went to Mandalorian.
And
That's
we're
right.
like, right now, we're like, oh yeah, this is chill. But can you imagine if for Black Panther 2, they did something like this with Chadwick?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they
so
would have been
God, that'd be in
fucked.
poor taste.
That they would have burned the studio to the ground.
Yeah, it's that also because and whoever asked the question in the chat, yeah, the actors are still on strike. The writers are done with the strike. They got their what they demand, but the actors, there's also not just AI, but also they want to stop doing the whole, you know, filming auditions at home. They actually want to do it into the studio because that has implications and problems within its own. Also, like how you mentioned the background actors, they don't get paid well as well. They get paid for a whole day or two, a week's worth of work, and they only get paid the chump change. You know what I mean? Like
They aren't
then
getting as much as they really deserve for their role. Not getting paid real hours.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some acting work. It's not all easy as it's chopped up to be. It can be annoying sometimes, but yeah. So they have the same demands as the writers, but the actors have a little bit more they have to go through. But then there's the gaming stuff as well, and then also the VFX stuff that if they go on strike, and it's going to prolong this whole strike process as well.
And the thing is, it's not even like the major studios like Disney or Universal that don't want to accept it. It's the smaller studios. Because the bigger studios, they're like, the deal is only worth like $40 million. Like, we can pay that. But not accepting the deal is costing us like hundreds of millions. And it's the smaller studios that don't want to accept it because they know that as the longer they hold out, the more they hurt their competition.
Right. Well, I mean, the smaller studios, A24 immediately accepted the demands of both writers and actors. That's why you see a lot of the actors and writers and content creators are able to promote the film because
I wouldn't call A24 small.
Well, I'm not saying small, but like compared to like Disney and Warner Brothers,
Yeah,
Universal.
The thing with A24 is they're based in the UK, so they don't abide by the same laws as like the US does. So they were quicker to accept the deals.
Yeah. They don't want to strike over there in the UK. That's going to be a whole nother thing.
What do you mean A24 be putting out too many disappointing projects?
I think right now they're trying to bid for the Halloween IP.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that, to be honest.
A24 deserves that. Did any of you see Talk to Me?
Yes, I love that film. I love it.
Yep. Shout out to Raka Raka.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Yeah.
their thing.
Also, the X trilogy thing they're doing. I think that was pretty good as well. The whole X and Pearl, and I think they have. What was the
I
other
don't know
one?
about X. X had me. X had me staring at that screen, wondering what I just watched.
Yeah, well, you know you got your kicks out of the whole General Taker thing. Come on now.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was laughing my ass off.
But yeah. So yeah, that's a whole. I'm gonna save that for a whole nother discussion for another live for AI. That's a whole nother because I see people going at it all the time about it. But also, who said the big studios are hurting the industry? Yeah. Do I think the big studios are hurting the film industry?
Yeah, because they're the ones who are mostly a no-go on the deal, and they need everybody in, or it can't go through.
Well, some of them, from what I understand, they're not going to say names, but some of the big studios were agreeing in, but the other ones weren't, and they work as a unit. So, because they have their own kind of like the WGA and SAG as well. So, if they're not all agreeing to, because that's the thing with the writer strike, yeah, because they had a deal. Like some of them agreed with the deal with the big studios, but they had to make sure that all of the WGA was in agreement before they can actually finalize the deal. So same thing with the big studios. Like you'll have like Universal be like, yeah, we'll meet the demands, but if Warner Brothers or Disney's not doing it, then they can't do anything about it until all of them agree on it. But that's why A24 and then we're able to get away with it. So.
Mm-hmm. Man, I really hope it comes to a close soon, because if it doesn't, I don't see us getting very far in the next couple of years, film-wise. We're definitely going to see a huge, stagnant little bit of time.
We're going to see nothing but reality shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least now the writer's strike is over. We'll get some decent stuff.
Yeah, so the writer's strike is done. They are still standing in solidarity with the actors, but the writers, their demands were met. Actors are still on strike, but they're still in solidarity with actors. So they will not take any work until actors get their demands met as well. Yeah.
At that point, I think the writers probably could ask for more.
All right.
Yeah, they were probably, like, if they were still going to just stay off, they probably could ask for more. Stay down a little longer.
Well, I'm waiting for. I'm gonna have another subject on this because we were talking about this yesterday on another live stream. Because we had a couple SAG members in the chat in the live stream. We were talking about because we were talking about the whole Straw Hat and King Lion situation. That's where it stemmed from.
Did that also bring up the fact of when Straw Hat was like still promoting movies?
Oh yeah, that was heavily one of the SAG members that were in my live stream yesterday was supposed to do a live stream with him, but he canceled it or something like that. I'm not trying to bring no bashing towards Straw Hat. I'm not that's what she said. I'm not know if it's true or not, but that's what was said. But yeah, but that whole thing was brought up as well. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
It has been a week, huh?
All right.
Cinema, it has been a week here on TikTok.
Man, I had a mutual mind ask me, because it's frustrating because it's like all this stuff is so focused on King Lion and Straw Hat, and it's like and for me, I followed both creators and whatnot, and so it's caused this big rift between everyone. So, and it's just drama. It's like, What happened to the day? I missed the YouTube days, to be honest with you. Like I
Yep,
missed
when it was nothing but YouTube, because it was harder to beef with somebody random.
YouTube used to
Because
be like, movies talk and that was it. Like that was that.
yep, there was no stitching, there was no adding people, just none of that. Also, kind of like what you said earlier, I follow both Straw Hat and King Lion. And when I saw the scenario go down, I just kind of looked and I was just like, what are you doing, Straw Hat? Just had me just confused. This drama stuff is way too much.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes. I don't know who was in the live stream, but it was like I had a lot of people in that live stream yesterday. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Oh my,
I was there.
yeah, I know. So it's a lot. But I had SAG members. I had one guy that works with social media people, content creators, and had a couple of mutuals like you show up. I didn't expect all that to blow up, but anyway, so much information. I got to a point. I had a huge headache, and I had to end the live. I was like, I can't do this. It was like 3 hours long. But
Yeesh. Yeah, that
they
sounds
would
like
have
a
kept going too. They would have kept going. But yeah. So I mean, that's why I was saying like I miss the YouTube days. Like there wasn't so much. So I guess that goes back to what the guy was saying earlier. Dude, the big studios hurt the film industry. I say some parts of the film industry, like the content creators and whatnot, I think they do hurt the content creators because if anything, a lot of the content creators get a lot of backlash about everything, and now content creators like we see now are fighting amongst each other. So it's like, back in the old YouTube early 2010 days, like. People were just doing their own thing, trailer reactions, movie reviews, and TV reviews. And it was just, it was a community. It was like, and when they got together, it was like a big Avengers. Like I used to subscribe to like the Real Rejects, Collider, AMC, all the, Stuckmen and all of them. But yeah.
yeah, and it just used to be this. You have your channel, you focus on your channel, nobody else exists, and it's just with TikTok, that is just simply not possible.
No. Too many people have a platform now.
Way too many people.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I get smart mouths in my comments.
Yep. And it feels like we're at the point where to get up, it needs to be a competition, and with that competition is nothing but fighting.
Yeah, I had a fight with a couple content creators earlier this year, and I was to a point that I was ready to leave Cinema Fans. I was like, man, I don't want to deal with this crap anymore. I'm gonna go back to YouTube. But yeah, I mean, what Malik was saying, yeah, I mean, yes, you can navigate that's why I was trying to, get hitting at with the whole, because I had a big problem earlier this year with a couple of content creators. Not trying to bring that thing up again, but it taught me a lesson of just like, just stay in my lane, do my own thing, let drama just, slide by, and you can navigate around it. But there's certain days you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? But
Like, it's at the point where even though it's a discount version of TikTok, YouTube Shorts is looking pretty nice right about now.
oh yeah, the view count is way different. I was like, man, why don't I just take everything I'm doing on here and just put it onto YouTube? I'll be fine.
Yeah, YouTube videos, YouTube Shorts, honestly, and you're getting paid better, honestly. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like, I'm gonna be the first person who's gonna complain about YouTube and how they do things, but like one thing I can't knock them for is how much they pay. YouTube would be the first people to open their wallets to you.
Oh yeah. 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 YouTube is. I mean, it is harder to get more viewers onto your account, which I think that's important. Is that it comes down to quality as well. You know, you have to actually put out good quality to get people to actually sit there and watch your whole video and whatnot. It's not like TikTok where you can have somebody say, yeah, I don't know, like, and the MCU sucks in one sentence in 5 seconds, and that video goes to 1 million views, and then they get all it. Just, it's
My view on it is I've had 2 go rounds with YouTube. I'm prepping for my third. My first go around, I crashed and burned. Didn't get anywhere. Second go around, I hit almost like 3K subscribers, and I had the requirements for the paid partnership and everything in 6 months. This next go around, I know what I'm doing and I'm going for it. Honestly, if you got a plan, you're gonna go gold. Like, you got it.
Yeah, I started out on YouTube since 2014 and stopped around 2018, took a break. Then TikTok happened, so I jumped into that. But I've thought about it. But but don't get me wrong, there's some videos on YouTube. There's some, like, I remember when I did the Last Jedi review, I got torn apart over that review.
See, I don't even blame you, because it's just, when you talk about something as big as Star Wars, no matter what you say, people are going to come at you. Because, no shots at the Star Wars community. This is mostly towards every community, but really the Star Wars community. If people don't agree with your every thought and whim, they will eat you alive.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I had an old account, and I, like, back when I used to collect Legos, and I got that Tauntaun AT-AT 2-pack, and I accidentally called the Tauntaun a Wampa. I never heard the end of it. I got called so many slurs.
You poor thing.
Like, bro, I love Star Wars, but God, I can never talk to anyone about it.
Man, this is why I love Star Wars, but I don't think I'm ever gonna talk about it on my channel or anything.
Man, it's to the point you can't even say anything. You say anything, you're just gonna report your video at this point. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, but
I'm not even gonna put in anything about what I thought about the latest trilogy. Just not gonna touch that.
You be careful.
Not gonna touch it.
I mean, that's the one thing I'll give Star Wars, though, the fan base, is that they're consistent, because they've been like this even before the social media days. But
oh yeah, Star Wars community has always been ready to turn up for their own.
bro, if you look back at those videos, how they tore apart George Lucas and that the prequel trilogy, it's crazy. They even had a legit documentary.
Midichlorian? Like, that meme was all you heard. Just like, what the hell's a midichlorian? Just for years.
They said some other stuff too. I can't even say on this live stream, but
Most definitely not.
yeah. I had Every time I tried to make a Star Wars review, I always get something. But the main one though is still The Last Jedi. Every time I try to touch that film, I always get comments. I even tried to do it on TikTok. I tried to revisit and review that film on TikTok. I'm
gonna share one opinion that I think is the least controversial. They were setting up Finn to be Force sensitive and to be a Jedi along Rey, and they just never went along with it, and I have no idea why.
Oh, I agree. They were trying to do something with Finn, but
the fact that they didn't just hurts my soul.
Well, that's the thing.
I feel like the sequels would have been portrayed a lot better if Finn was the Jedi instead of Rey. They could have had Rey as kind of the Han Solo of the sequels.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they didn't have a plan. And then you had Rian Johnson come in and basically undo everything that was set up in The Force Awakens. And then you had J.J. Abrams come back and try to bring a conclusion to what he set up in the first film. So I was like,
Let's not even talk about what they did to Luke.
bro.
They took his character, bent it over, and had a time.
I can't tell you what, the second because I was very hyped about Last Jedi. I was very hyped. And, at the end of Force Awakens, you see Rey, about to, give her lightsaber to Luke. And everyone's been building that up, what he's going to do with that lightsaber. Then when everyone got in the theater, and everyone was in that theater, I tell you, it was packed. Everyone wearing Chewbacca mask and everything. He takes the lightsaber and just looks at it and just chucks it behind him. I busted out. I was like, oh. You can hear the biggest awe in the whole theater. It was just, imagine Marvel movies when they, be like going crazy when a cameo happens and whatnot, but it's reversed. There'd be like people cussing out the theater. I saw people leave. It was no joke.
I saw No Way Home on Christmas night, and when friggin' Andrew appeared, there was nothing but scaling and screaming.
Oh yeah, it was. I went to my first screening was on the opening night, and then I went again a couple of days later. And the first screening I did, they went crazy for Matthew Murdock. But the second he showed his hand in the cane, it was just they went nuts. But
he showed up. I might have heard more reaction for him than the other two Spider-Men showing up.
That's what I was just saying earlier. I know I'm not alone, but which I'm gonna be honest with you, like that whole year building up to that film was nuts. But when Daredevil season 3 came out and then it got canceled like a month later, and the whole Save Daredevil movement, which I was a part of, that whole build up. Man, it was a big reliever. And I'm so hyped for. I know a lot of people were kind of like they don't know if Daredevil Born Again is going to be good as the original show, but I don't know. They're getting John Bernthal back, and what's his name? Playing Wilson Fisk, D'Onofrio.
I always forget his name. Like when it mostly counts, I always forget his name.
I think it's Vincent D'Onofrio, I believe.
Dude did amazing in Hawkeye.
Oh yeah. And that's the biggest thing I've had a fight with Marvel fans is that some think that he's not that show and the Daredevil we see now is not canon to the show. And I keep having this back and forth with people. I'm like, I understand that y'all want a refreshed version, but this is the same Daredevil from the show. Why would they go out their way to make the same design suit and also have his theme play in She-Hulk? I mean, I granted, yes, they did the same thing with the Miss Marvel show with the X-Men stuff, but that's different. This is, the actual character with his theme, and he has. I mean, why would they make the same design suit?
I do say the fact that they're using Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, in the Deadpool movie, which is now in the MCU, they might make a good chunk of the Fox universe canon, and I feel like we might see that.
I think Deadpool's he's going to destroy everything.
Oh yeah, he's going to melt it down and turn the universe into putty.
Well, there was this theory Cosmic Wonder brought up. He said that apparently that Avengers: The Kang Dynasty is going to be its own film, and Secret Wars is going to be its own film, and that what's going to happen in Secret Wars is that it's going to be like kind of like they did with the What If series, where they had a multiversal Avengers or whatnot, or Guardians or whatnot. So I think we'll have a combination of all these heroes from other universes come together with Deadpool, bringing everyone together, which would be awesome, and taking on whoever the threat is in Secret Wars. Because I don't know who's going to be the big threat of Secret Wars at this point.
I would want like a more true Illuminati. Like Shuri, Black Panther, keep Reed, but make him smarter than he was in Multiverse of Madness.
The blue spaghetti.
Yeah. Let's bring a version of Tony, maybe Professor X, if his actor's still up for that. Doctor Strange. Namor's actor. Actually, no. Didn't something happen with his actor? Didn't he do something?
Who was character?
Namor.
I think they made a truce between Shuri as the Black Panther because he fought on the edge of
No,
the
I mean
beach.
like his actor, like real life.
Was there controversial about him?
Yeah, I feel like something happened, but I just can't recall. I might just be pulling this out of my butt, though.
I think you're correct. I think I read something about that. I can't remember. It was like a small thing. Nothing like the what's his name? The actor who plays King. Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors. By the way, I mentioned this earlier, didn't really explain it as to why I called Reed Richards not as smart earlier, is because he looks at Wanda, looks at Black Bolt, is like, with one word he can narrate. Like, you basically just told her where to aim. She doesn't know Black Bolt. She doesn't know a thing about Black Bolt. And you just pointed at the one person who was probably going to wipe her off the map.
Do you watch Comics Explain?
Every now and then, yeah.
Bro, you know how he hates the whole Inhumans and Black Bolt and all that?
Yeah.
Bro, you would check his Twitter. He's going nuts with the Inhumans right now. He's giving all types of slander to the Inhumans, which I don't blame him. I mean, I didn't really care for the Inhumans in the comics, to be honest with you. I mean, Black Bolt was kind of cool, but yeah, there's a reason why they were supposed to be a big thing in the MCU, and they kind of just resulted in a couple episodes shown in theaters and never talked about again.
Oh, speaking of the Inhumans and the X-Men, you want to talk about Kamala Khan at all in the comics?
Oh, don't get me, bro. I remember when people went nuts over that because they killed her off in the comics with the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. She doesn't even get the respect of going out in her own comic. She goes out in a Spider-Man comic.
They didn't even have Miles there, and those two were like very close in the comics, and
way closer than with Peter.
Yeah, exactly. And now she shows up, which everyone knew they were going to do. She shows up with the mutant powers, but
also she dies to like some B-lister.
Yeah, I knew they were going to. There was no way they could have just. That's too much writing for them to make it actually meaningful.
Like, have it be like, oh, King was up to something and she just happened to be the closest one there, or like, don't have it be some B-lister.
Well, that's the thing. That's the bigger thing with the Spider-Man stuff. Is I argue with people. I think Miles has really carried the mantle when it comes to Spider-Man comics lately, because the main. No, I say that because I know they're bringing back the Ultimate Universe, and I know they're bringing back Ultimate Spider-Man in January, the original Ultimate Spider-Man. And not to say Miles isn't the original either, not taking that away from him either, but like the original Peter from the 2000s, from the Ultimate Universe, they're bringing it back in January.
That's a mistake. That Peter, when he went out, that was the most emotional I've ever been over a comic book.
Well,
and then you find out that,
Did you read after that?
Yep. And then he comes back, and he's an ass. Just do not bring that version of Peter back. Let him. He should have died and stayed dead.
I mean, I agree with you. I do appreciate what they did with this character at the end, though, with him and Miles fighting Goblin and how impactful that was, which I'm kind of hoping they'll do with the Spider-Man game with Miles and Peter fighting Venom, which is going to be crazy.
Did you see that final trailer that they put out?
Oh, dude, I'm hyped.
Dude, I already have it pre-ordered. I got the 4 days after that just cleared. I'm going to town.
So the other people on the live stream, what's y'all's take on the subject matter, or just whatever we're talking about right now?
I think it depends how you look at it, like your perspective. So, like, I'd say yeah, it's ruining like the film industry quality wise, but it is saving it at the same time. Like theaters are already like in the garbage pretty much, and if it wasn't for these like Marvel movies or Fast, Furious, Jurassic Park, whatever the fuck, they'd be out of business by now, and the smaller movies wouldn't be able to be played.
Right.
But they're definitely oversaturating the industry.
So, in the next 10 to 15 years, do you see comic book films around, or at least being as major as they are now?
I can see
Yeah, it's
actually
gonna
them
stay the
doing
same. I like
it.
they need to be like going back to like one or two a year, because now it's like insane. Like come out with a Marvel movie and a DC movie once a year,
Well, we're
and that'll be
about
like healthy.
Yeah, I don't know about a DC movie. DC needs to take an honest break.
I mean, they
I
are for two
trust
years.
I trust James Gunn. I trust James
Well,
Gunn.
here's
I
the
think
thing: they're coming out with a Superman movie, so off the bat, that's just gonna bang. Like it's Superman, it's gonna make money.
That's still like a year and a half away though, but
That's
at the
2 years.
same time that gives enough breathing room to kind of
Yeah.
separate it from, the other stuff that's coming out because you still have like the Joker sequel that's a musical that no one asked for, and Aquaman, and uh what's the other one?
Dude,
The other
Aquaman,
Batman, like the other Batman movie, and it's just like,
Batman's coming out the same year as Superman Legacy.
like, let me
so
just
that's
say
25
this.
as well.
Yeah.
I
go ahead.
love
Okay.
Jason Momoa, but Aquaman 2 is going to have the same problem that The Flash did because of Amber Heard.
Do y'all know?
In
Did
a
y'all?
way, but she's not going to be in it as much because obviously with
People,
the Flash movie, that's like we had to deal with two different versions of the same character. So
Bro,
Ezra
don't get
Miller
me
isn't the
started with
reason the
that
Flash
film.
bombed, bro.
Don't get me started with that film. Oh my gosh, I hate that. Now Aquaman 2. I think it's going to be a heavy conversation when that movie comes out, but I don't think it's going to be for the right reasons at all. It's going to be like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 situation with Gwen Stacy kind of conversation. Because I'm not trying to spoil anything, but I got spoiled too with something. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's something that happens in that film. I know it's going to piss people off. It's going to piss people off.
oh boy,
Is it
I'm waiting
the
for it.
Aqua Baby thing?
Yeah, it has something to do with that, but it's not what you think, though. Trust me.
Is it?
I mean, I was already concerned when they pretty much were going to like fast forward to that because the first thing that comes in my mind is the or I think it was it the first Justice League or was it Unlimited that followed when Aquaman popped in and then
And
did like
he
the whole arc.
He
cut
was in
off
both.
a certain thing.
Right. And it was just like, because that was the first thing that came to mind. Was like, okay, are they going to try to go like the Bruce Timm Justice League route with Aquaman with this, but still try to keep like that? Because I mean, my problem with it already, just after watching the trailer, is that they pretty much already gave away the plot. So it's kind of like we kind of know what's going to happen now in a way. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is with WB in their trailers where they feel like they have to give away the main plot point. I never understand that.
Like they did with The Flash.
Well, yeah.
They overdid the Flash, and I feel like they gave up on that movie by then. By then, they were just like, "Yeah, this is what the movie's about. Just come see it if you're gonna come see it."
Dude, that film was in 10 years in the make. That they've been planning that film since the Man of Steel days. Like that film was in the works. It went through so much crap, and then Ezra Miller thing. I just don't even get me started
That
on that.
movie
He
had
fell in
every right
hell.
to save the DCU, and it
You
just
know, James Gunn was talking about it's important for his universe, and then when the film came out and the criticism came along with it, you noticed how quiet he got with that film.
Well, he was just saying that so people like maybe went to go see it because a lot of people were just out because like to them it doesn't matter anymore, because it's
And
not the universe.
I'm not. I don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hold on that director, but please, I hope they don't bring. I know they said they will bring him for Batman: Brave and the Bold, but
Yeah.
I hope they don't.
Andy
I hope.
Muschietti, I think, is awful. Like,
you
it
you
two
know
was shit. It one was good, but Flash also ass. I think he actually does use CGI and makes it look bad in certain scenes on purpose. Not all of them, because all of them are just like it looks bad the whole time. But
don't fall for that. Don't fall for that
no.
crap.
I'm saying in some sequences it's actually bad on purpose. Like the dome, whenever he's going in the Time Force or whatever, that's on purpose.
That
Bro,
one is
But outside of that, it's just
horrendous.
bad.
they handled the whole multiverse thing better in the CW shows than they handled it in the movie.
The TV show
They
did
did.
so much better.
They
But
they
you know
did.
who I
It's like
hope?
They handled the
like
cameos better, to be honest with. I'll argue that too, to be honest with you. Smallville, bringing in other. I mean, Kevin Conroy. Come on.
they respected the source material a lot more on the CW, and
Yeah.
it's like it's a shame that like the quality of the rest of the shows like really couldn't like stand up to it. But it's apparent that they at least understood what they were doing and how they were going to do it, and then I guess like when stuff happened, they started like kind of like shifting writers and kind of like putting them on other stuff because I mean it's kind of crazy because it's like even among the CW like it still boggles my mind that Superman and Lois is as good as it is because in my mind it shouldn't be that good, but
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. I need to say that real quick. Superman and Lois has no right to be as good as it is.
And it's hard to believe that it stemmed from Supergirl.
Seriously.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, on every level, not just the acting, but the camera work, how they shot it, the storytelling. It's completely separate from the CW. I don't even consider it a CW show, to be honest with you.
It's an HBO it's an HBO show now.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
should I say Max?
Do you guys think that Aquaman 2 is gonna profit?
No.
It's a holiday movie, so it might. So it's kind of going to be one of those things where they're probably going to hinge on like the holiday thing, like, hey, this is playing, let's go do a pre-Christmas thing or post. Folks have their rituals during the holidays, so it might, but it's not going to do the first movie's numbers.
Yeah, I
I
think
highly doubt
I'm
that.
so flabbergasted at that, like how it made a bill. Like,
The
did all
way
the sewer people like come out and like just go and see it or something? Like, I don't
Well, that
understand.
goes to what we were talking about earlier in the live stream. Is that yes, Aquaman is a main character, big, well-known character, but this is the first time they're actually showing some love to Aquaman. Because they always showing love to Batman and Superman. They got all these other characters. I mean, so many characters in the DC characters, all of them, like villains, heroes, anti-heroes, like Red Hood, all that stuff. Like they have all these characters that I'm telling you, if they actually took the time, which I'm hoping, I have faith in James Gunn that he will do it because I'm already seeing his list so far, and I see he's going in the right direction. He loves comics, but there's so many characters that they can use. They just don't do it. I don't
the way
understand it.
the way I see it is Aquaman, the first one, was so good. It's gonna turn a profit just because people want to see how the second one turns out.
Did you watch? I don't know if I'm sure y'all didn't, but did you watch the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing?
Yeah, 100. Yep.
So you saw where they had the ex CEO for Warner Brothers that showed up in the court, right?
I believe so.
He threw Amber Heard and Jason Momoa under the bus.
Did you see what happened recently? That it got leaked that Amber Heard was talking to her therapist and saying that Jason Momoa was terrorizing her on set by dressing like Johnny.
Oh yeah. But the CEO guy, he said the reason why it was something about money wise. She wanted more money than Jason or something like that. But basically, he said that they weren't very excited for the film because there was no chemistry between Jason Momoa and Amber Heard when they were making the film. So they thought the film was going to flop, which it didn't. So, and then when it didn't flop, she wanted more money. So it was crazy. But
I think that's one of the few positives about that movie is their chemistry. To be honest, like I don't think it's that good. It's like good, but it's pretty forgettable.
I don't agree with him. I think that the chemistry was fine, but I mean, it's no Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy type of
Yeah,
chemistry, but
for sure.
Oh, let's not even get started on, like you said, Peter and Gwen. That was amazing. That was good. Peter and MJ in the original trilogy.
She was the worst part of those movies, bro. I don't know what
She
you're
was
talking
the
about.
worst part of those movies.
no one's ready for that discussion. Everyone's still hooked on the nostalgia, but no one's ready for that discussion about that
Hey,
whole.
Emma Watson, love you as an actor. If I ever see you in a Spider-Man movie again, I might just cry. The same feeling I see when I see her in the original trilogy is the same feeling I get when I have an MJ mission in the PlayStation game.
Dude,
My
it's
soul just hurts.
yeah. I've been revisiting because I've been rereading all of the Amazing Spider-Man run from the all the way back in the '60s. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Steve Ditko. I love his art, but man, it is a chore to read that stuff. I tell you, but. Yeah, because I'm in now where the MJ and Gwen Stacy and all of them are cool in college and all that. And man, I wish they would show more love the whole Peter and Gwen Stacy thing because there's so much story there. I mean, I'm glad they did it with the Amazing Spider-Man stuff, but it was so short-lived. But all they bring him in for the Tom Holland trilogy, to be honest with you. Like, I hope they do have a conclusion to the MJ thing and No Way Home, but can we get a little, if not Gwen Stacy, some Black Cat action a little bit?
Oh, that we aren't ready for that.
I saw that they're gonna bring
That's a whole
Zendaya back
nother
for the
level of
fourth one.
toxicity right there.
So what?
I saw they were gonna bring Zendaya back for the fourth one, which I think would be a big L.
I mean, if they brought her back just to, I don't know. If they did, there may be a way to do it, but
I think they should wait for the fifth one because they're gonna make 6.
like
So,
I think they should have her like where they don't reconnect yet,
yeah,
like kind of like build it up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it to where it's just like, because my this is my thing with Gwen Stacy. Like at this point in time in the fandom is the fact that it's kind of hard to to reintroduce her as like a normal love interest because Spider Gwen has existed the last few years and everybody loves her. So it's
Mhm.
like it's kind of weird to where unless they try to do it to where it's just like
With Miles.
it's a concurrent thing, but it's we don't know because of the same fact it's like they have that you know he had like it's part of his lore, but it's just like do we need a Gwen Stacy love interest for Tom Holland Spider Man? Probably not.
I
So,
mean,
but
my counter to that is that they've basically made Tom Holland's Peter Parker Miles.
in a way,
Like
yeah, they have.
Iron Man has more of a bit of in his relationship. He's in there with
Right,
him. Ned
right,
is just Genki.
He is.
right.
Like I feel like if he ended up with a Gwen, it wouldn't be completely insane.
Well, I'm glad there was because I'm glad that the Into the Spider Verse and Cross the Spider Verse is respecting the lore a little bit because in the comics him and Gwen had this thing going, and I'm glad they're kind of like showing more love into that, and that's what I
Hmm.
think. I think maybe Gwen is kind of moved on from the Peter thing, and I think it's more of a Miles and Gwen now than it is Peter than Gwen.
Right.
And the problem with Peter and MJ is that, and that's the thing. I have this argument with Spider-Man fans is that, bro, like, as soon as that main Amazing Spider-Man run ended in like early I think it was at 2000s, right, or
It
1999.
was. You mean like the Raimi trilogy or Amazing Spider-Man films?
I'm talking about the comics. Just from
Oh,
his first issue from all the way up to because I think it ended around 1999 or 2000s around there, and then they restarted it again. The amazing, but my point is that back then they were evolving the character. They were actually letting him grow, getting married with MJ, and doing all these things. But then I would say, Civil War happened, and then we got
I'll be right back.
yeah. But then he had the Back in Black, and then he had One More Day, which was I think the true nail to the coffin to that whole, Peter Parker evolving because they keep trying to put him back into the, you know, he's broke, he's, getting kicked out of his apartment, which is cool. The story's cool for that, but the character can never evolve. He's going to still be in this endless loop of being in that same position in his life, which is destroying his character. It's really prevalent in his recent run right now. I mean, except the whole him getting the goblin spirit and going crazy, but
Yeah, I've noticed that trend too, because it's like even the most recent one where he had like started Parker Industries and all that, and I think like version of Miguel O'Hara was working for him or whatever and all that, and I'm like, okay, he's putting his smarts to some good use, and he doesn't have it anymore as far as I know. So
yeah.
it's like they always got to keep up like that old Parker Luck thing with him or whatever. It's like nothing ever goes right for him.
Mm-hmm. And same thing for the Batman stuff.
Well, at least they kept him broke a lot longer than I thought they would. So
Yeah, but then they had the fail-safe situation, which don't even get me started on that thing. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Him
I've been hearing
falling from
about that one.
space. Him falling from space with only his cape, and he managed to not die. I don't understand that at all. But
It's just DC. Like they do everything as short of just making that man a meta at this point. It's like, my God, just get it over with and give that man the power already.
I don't know who. Man, we're talking about Star Wars fans being crazy. Batman fans are just as bad. They're just bad. They're up there. I mean, if anybody can attest to that, King Lion, all the people around that can attest to that.
Oh, so can I. I remember, it was so like mind-boggling. I think like one of the first Batman debates I ever got into, dude. This was like around the time when the Infinity War dropped, when the trailer dropped,
Mm-hmm.
and or after the movie came out, and Buddy was trying to make the argument because Steve Rogers got knocked out by Thanos, that somehow that makes Batman stronger than him.
Oh my god.
It was insane. I'm like, dude, like, huh? Like he would crack Bruce's skull if Thanos punched him.
Let me
Like,
guess. He said if he had prep time. Let me guess. Did he say that?
yeah, it eventually got there. So like, it always inevitably goes to prep time, right?
Well, I always have this debate with people with Spider-Man and Batman thing. I'm like, I don't care if Batman has prep time. Spider-Man got that spider senses. Don't matter. I mean, look, it can go either way, but Spider-Man, nah. I always say Spider-Man. But, I mean, Batman, the fans always OP Batman, but that was never the reason why Batman was beloved and whatnot. It wasn't because of him outdoing everybody else. It was because of the symbol and idea of what made Batman. But
It's grown beyond that. Like I have grown to loathe Bruce Wayne as a character like so much. Like I'm cool with that. Well, I take that back. Him and Damien I can't stand. I can't stand Damien's little ass either. But everybody, like pretty much everybody else in the Bat family I'm fairly fine with, is for the most part. It's just like just Bruce he just irks me as a character, that like he does this stuff, he gets away with it, and it's just like, dude, like, no, I would never have this motherfucker on my team ever. Like, I'm
yeah,
sorry, no, like, because it's like, dude, the way people like especially like the way people kept hyping up Tower of Babel, I was like, dude, no, he'd be gone after that if it was up to me. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I'm just like, no, it's like, no, you get no passes for that, dude. Like, you literally had a thing on all of us that got out and nearly killed all of us. No, like.
yeah. It's yeah.
So it's
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 never
ki- it's
fun.
kind of enjoyable that people are kind of starting to wake up to that a little bit too with the Bruce Wayne, like, you know, the whatever magic hold that, like, that he tends to have over superherodom. But aside from his like super fans, folks gonna back Bruce regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly it was the 2016 Batman is what really You nailed that to the coffin about Batman being OP over everyone else.
Yeah, that was New 52, wasn't it?
Yeah, also along with the whole Zack Snyder version of Batman as well.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
so that was a whole nother thing. But
Oh, absolutely. Like, and it's just one of those things. Is the reason why. I guess it's just one of those things. Like, this is why like WB like has so many Batman projects to come out compared to every other DC character. It was like I was just like, that's why. That's why I'm kind of like on like a bat hiatus for like a good while indefinitely. Like, I haven't like really consumed anything Batman wise except for like the most recent movie, but that was about it. Just to see how it is, but haven't watched it again since. But it's just like I'm just looking forward to other DC projects to come out that does not have to do with the Bat family at this point. If it does, let it be a legacy character because I am sick of Bruce. I don't need to see another story with him for a while. Let someone else get that spotlight on the big screen for a minute. Like, seriously.
I'll be happily fine if they just. I mean, I know they're gonna make a Batman film for the DCU, but like, I'll be happy. And same for the comics. Like, I'll just be happy if they just, because like you look at the releases of the comics, DC comics. It's always Batman, something related. If it's not, his Bat family or different versions of Batman, and then also the villains or whatnot, like Harley Quinn and all. But
Mhm.
it's never you never hear about the other characters at all.
Yeah, and we have to research them. It's just like, I had started picking up a lot of other characters' comics to kind of really get to know them, and of course, watching other anthologies and stuff. And it's just like, dude, like these characters are really interesting. Can we get more movies of them? But again, they always default back to Batman because that was the cash cow. And Superman is kind of sort of coming back or whatever to kind of become like the face of DC, to so to speak, again. But it's like, again, when all else fails, release the bat. Like, that's their whole strategy, and it's just like, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And even on top of that, like, I would like to see more other characters, more legacy characters, highlight a little bit more because, to be honest, some of them are always the more interesting. It's the reason why people love like Titans and the Teen Titans series so much. It's because like those characters are more interesting than them trying to carry a mantle and
Hmm.
whatnot and just trying to find their own way. I mean, with Dick Grayson is Nightwing and everybody else, that are trying to, find a way to become a team, but also dealing with the burden of what their predecessor did for them. It's just like that's really intriguing. I mean, that's why people love those shows so much. And granted, I hate the most recent Titan show, but that's a different story. But uh,
Yeah,
the concept of them, it's just like it's hard not to be in love with that. Like, they're interesting characters.
yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah, 100%, man. You did not no lie there. But I'm gonna wrap it up here because I've been going for like I think 3 hours now. But I appreciate you coming on here and you know uh, you know I
Yeah,
honestly I love this discussions and all that. It's brought a lot of ideas for me for future live streams and topics and whatnot. So I
yeah. I
appreciate
appreciate
you
you
and all
inviting
these
me.
passions. Say what?
So I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah, I gave you a follow and everything, so I'd love to check you out and everything with content wise and all. And yeah, everyone go give him a follow if you're on this live stream and whatnot. And yeah, and anything else you want to add to the subject or anything you want to plug in or whatnot?
Well, just to pretty much directly answer the question just really quick, comic book movies are not hurting the industry. They just need to balance it out so other opportunities can be made. So the beef is with the movie executives and not the movies themselves. So there we go.
Well, I appreciate it. 100%. I appreciate you joining the live, and I wish you all the best and bless and everything else.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Peace.
Later.
Later. All right. All right, so this will be the end conclusion of the episode 2 of Cinema Fans Podcast live stream. And thank you to all the people that joined the live stream and gave their pointers, their opinions on, the comic book films are hurting the industry or not, film industry wise. And also all the stuff with Marvel and DC and AI and all that good stuff. But I appreciate everyone that came on here and also the people in the chat. I shout out to y'all. I'm going to give y'all a follow to all the people that showed up. But again, I appreciate y'all. Please go follow me and be on the lookout for more streams. I'm going to try to keep these on the weekends and just focus on the weekdays, putting out content when it comes to cinema news and movie and TV reviews. But besides that, also this live stream and all the other live streams will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. So if you want to check out what was said beforehand, if you didn't see it, it will be on my YouTube channel probably the next day. So, so thank you for watching and follow for more.